Question 1.1.2 reads 4x squared plus 9x minus 3 is equals to 0, and they want us to solve for x. Now, in the answer sheet, there's two ways of doing this. We'll start off with the first one. The first one, very easy. We're using the quadratic equation to get our answer. So, our quadratic equation has a general term ax squared plus bx plus c. And therefore, we can conclude that a is equals to 4, b is equals to 9, and c is a negative 3. And our quadratic equation says x is equals to negative b plus minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac over 2a. So mind the fact that there's a plus and a negative here. So that means we have two options where one will use a plus and one will use a negative. Like that. And like that. Okay. So we can go ahead and substitute in now. We have a negative a plus, 9 squared minus 4 multiplied by 4 multiplied by a negative 3. Everything over 2 multiplied by 4. And here we would have a negative 9 minus 9 squared minus 4 times a negative 3 over 2 times 4. When we plug in this into the calculator, we get 0,2. They want us to end this at 2 decimal numbers. So the next number is going to be 9. It does not round up because the number after it is 4, which is lower than 5. And when we use the negative sign, we get that x is equals to a negative 2.5. Again, rounding up to only 2 decimal is going to give us 4 because the number after that is 4, which is less than 5. So we leave the 4 as is. Now, let's go to the second method. For the second method, we'll be using something called the completing the square. So here we will have our equation. And what we're going to do is that we're going to divide by 4 everywhere. And we get x cubed plus 9 over 4x minus 3 over 4. Then we're going to take the 3 over 4 to the other side. So we have x squared plus 9 over 4x is equals to 3 over 4. Now, completing the square requires us to add half of our b squared on both sides. So first, what is half of our b? Half of our b would be equals to 9 over 4 divided by 2, which gives us 9 over 8. So we're going to add it on both sides. What we do on the left-hand side, we also do on the right-hand side. So we're going to add it squared, right? So just to be clear, we're adding it squared, giving us 81 over 64 over there. So we're going to add it to the right-hand side and the left-hand side. Okay. So now this actually forms a perfect square. This part here forms a perfect square. Okay. So that will allow us to have x plus 9 over 8 squared. And on the other side, we'll just sum those two together, giving us 129 over 64. Now we want to get rid of that square. So what we're going to do is we're going to square root both sides. We will have x plus 9 over 8, and a square root has two answers. It will have a negative answer and a positive answer. So allowing us again to have two answers. So on one hand, we are going to have x plus 9 over 8 minus the square root of 129 over 64. And on the other side, we'll have x plus 9 over 8 is equals to a positive 129 over 64. We will have x is equals to a negative square root of 129 over 64 minus 9 over 8, which will give us the negative 2.54. And on this side, we will have x is equals to the square root. So that square root needs to be over everything. Sorry about that. Needs to be over everything. 129 over 64 minus 9 over 8, which then should give us a positive 0.24. And this is the second method of doing 1.1.2.